All right, welcome back to Two Wants to Know. Attorney General Josh Stein is joining us, taking your questions. This first question is, where are we with marijuana decriminalization?
There is legislation at the General Assembly to decriminalize marijuana. And just to explain what that is, that means that it would no longer be a crime, but it's not legal. It would be a civil infraction like a low-level speeding ticket. So there's legislation to do that. It has not advanced at the General Assembly. There was a bill heard in a Senate committee today on medical marijuana that did get favorable consideration. And so that issue is being considered at the legislature this summer.
All right, let's talk about robocalls, because we have a couple of different texts in here. Why does it seem that if you register on the do not call number, you get more calls?
There's no relationship with registering for the do not call list. Understand that there's a difference between the do not call list and robocalls, because the do not call list is for legitimate telemarketers, companies whose names you know, who want to follow the law. And so we definitely recommend people sign up for the do not call list, because that will at least keep those legitimate companies from calling you. The robocalls, however, originate from illegal robocallers. These are criminals who do not care that you're on the do not call list. And so they continue to make calls irrespective of your being on it. They don't call you more because you're on it. That just feels that way.
It certainly does. All right. So how do we report a robocall? Should we report a robocall? Should we answer robocalls?
If you know it's a spam call, just let it ring and don't pick it up. However, there will be times when you pick up a call unwittingly and it is a robocaller. So it's okay to hear them out. And if you do, notify my office. You can file a complaint at ncdoj.gov/no-robo, and let us know what they were pitching, what the phone number was, what time of day it was. Any information you can get, it can help us to enforce the law.
Mm-hmm. And so today, it all went into effect. That whole stir shaken technology goes into effect, and now those phone companies now have to abide by that. For people who don't know what stir shaken is.
Stir shaken is technologies that all the phone companies must deploy. And the idea is when you get a phone call, it should have a digital fingerprint so that the number that displays on your screen is the same number that the call originated from. Everyone gets these spoofed calls where it looks like it's coming from a family member, or it'll say the Social Security Administration when it's clearly not. We want to put a stop to that practice because it will make it harder for the robocallers to operate.
All right, this person's asking, if you allow a company to run your credit and they tell you you're approved, yet they won't tell you the company's name, is it lawful for them to withhold that information from you?
I don't have quite enough information to be able to answer that well, but fortunately we have great people working at the Attorney General's office who can help. Just call our toll-free number, 877-5-NO-SCAM, and you will talk to somebody who can answer that question for you, or any other question you may have involving a consumer transaction.
Have you heard of any kind of scams that deal with the child tax credit?
How do you learn of them?
No, have you heard of any of them?
I have not, but I assure you there will be some, because wherever there's a pot of money, the scammers will go.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where if you ever have a question, you can always reach out to several different entities, whether that be the North Carolina AG. You can email Two Wants to Know, and we will help try and set you straight. Really quickly, do you have any updates on any price gouging things that happened?
There was definitely price gouging that we saw after the gasoline shortage about a month and a half ago. So we are continuing to investigate a number of gas stations about the prices they charged that were extremely suspicious.
And if someone thinks that they have a price gouging claim, they need to get in contact with you, and they need to have specific information.
That's right. We have a price gouging complaint form at ncdoj.gov/price gouging, and it will tell you exactly what you need, what the price that was charged, who charged it, what was the product, all that information we would need to do an investigation.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. We so appreciate it. And we want you to be able to get your questions answered. So we're going to be putting these interview segments in the Two Wants to Know section so you can go back and take a look and see if your question was asked.